Cenat tries to kill NBA YoungBoy for sleeping with his girlfriend. It started with one sentence that felt like a joke, until it didn't. A breakup tweet. A crying clip. A rumor so extreme it sounded illegal to repeat. And within hours, the internet was screaming that Cenat wanted NBA YoungBoy dead. No proof. No charges. No confirmation. Just pure digital chaos spiraling completely out of control. Lives paused. Timelines froze. And suddenly, one of the biggest streamers on the planet was being dragged into the darkest narrative of his entire career. Fans woke up to trending words they never expected to see together. YoungBoy. He snapped. He lost it. This is dangerous. Screenshots flew. Alleged DMs leaked. A fake insider audio clip surfaced claiming Kai was out of control and talking reckless. Twitter turned into a courtroom with no judge and no rules. One side swore Kai was pushed past his limit after discovering a betrayal involving his girlfriend. The other side warned this was how lies destroy lives. And then it got worse. Old footage resurfaced, Kai crying at an NBA YoungBoy concert, now twisted into mockery. Clips were slowed down, edited, weaponized. Memes turned emotional vulnerability into humiliation. Influencers jumped in for clout. Bloggers ran with headlines they couldn't prove. And buried beneath all of it was one terrifying question no one wanted to ask out loud: what if this rumor pushed things too far? Because once the internet decides someone snapped, facts stop mattering. And by the time NBA YoungBoy finally reacted with 3 cryptic words, it was already clear, this wasn't just about a breakup anymore. This was about how fast the internet can turn pain into something lethal. The rumor didn't crawl onto the internet. It detonated. One moment, it was a sad breakup tweet. The next, timelines were screaming that Cenat had lost his mind and that NBA YoungBoy was somehow in danger. No police reports. No verified sources. Just a perfect storm of grief, betrayal, and the internet's favorite pastime, turning pain into something criminal before anyone can stop it. It began quietly, almost harmlessly, with Kai's 8-word post that hit like a gut punch: "I'm single. I will never be in another relationship again." Fans felt it instantly. The tone wasn't joking. It wasn't clickbait. It sounded final. Within minutes, millions were dissecting every word, every comma, every implication. Clips resurfaced of Kai opening up about mental health weeks earlier, now reframed as warning signs. Armchair psychologists flooded comment sections, claiming they saw this coming. And then the rumors found a target. Anonymous accounts started posting threads that read like movie scripts. They claimed Kai had discovered something unforgivable involving his girlfriend. They hinted at a rapper. Then they stopped hinting. They dropped a name that lit the internet on fire: NBA YoungBoy. No evidence attached. Just vibes, screenshots with usernames blurred, and captions like "if you know, you know." And somehow, that was enough. The irony made it worse. Everyone remembered the clip. September. Crypto.com arena. Kai in the crowd, tears streaming down his face as NBA YoungBoy performed Heart Soul. That moment had once been praised as pure, human, real. Now it was being re-edited, replayed, and mocked. "He cried for him and this is how it ends," one viral tweet read. Another said, "Imagine worshipping the dude who took your girl." The narrative was forming at lightning speed, and it didn't care whether it was true. Then came the escalation, the part where gossip turned dangerous. A fake insider account claimed Kai had been talking reckless behind the scenes. Another alleged there were messages that can't be posted. A third claimed security teams had been alerted. None of it sourced. All of it shared. And suddenly, the word violent started appearing in posts that were getting hundreds of thousands of likes. Not because anything had happened, but because the internet decided it could. Kai didn't help by staying silent. Every hour without a statement made the theories louder. People clipped his past streams, slowing down moments where he looked angry or emotional, adding captions like "This is when he snapped." Fans argued in spaces like it was a trial. Some defended him fiercely, saying he was hurting, not dangerous. Others said heartbreak plus humiliation equals explosion. Nobody stopped to ask where the line was. Meanwhile, NBA YoungBoy hadn't said a word. And that silence became its own accelerant. His fans took it as proof he was unbothered. Kai's fans took it as disrespect. Reaction channels went live with titles that blurred rumor into accusation. Thumbnails screamed he wants him gone, while disclaimers whispered allegedly too small to matter. The algorithm didn't care about nuance. It rewarded fear. Then the fake receipts dropped. A screenshot allegedly showing a DM from someone close to Kai saying, "He's not in a good place." You'll don't know how far this went. No timestamp. No verification. Another post claimed there was an audio clip being passed around privately of Kai ranting. No one could produce it. But creators referenced it anyway. "I've heard things I can't repeat," one said on stream, eyes wide, voice shaking for effect. Viewers ate it up. The story mutated again when someone revived the conspiracy angle. They claimed this was retaliation, that Kai had given NBA YoungBoy's album a lukewarm review months earlier, and that everything spiraled from there. It was absurd. It didn't matter. It went viral. Memes followed. Edits followed. And the idea that this was personal, intentional, and explosive became accepted law in less than a day. Off to the side, the actual people involved were being swallowed whole. Kai reportedly stopped going live. His circle went quiet. Friends subtweeted about protecting mental health and praying for clarity. That only fueled speculation. If he was fine, why wasn't he talking? If nothing happened, why was everyone being so careful? Then DJ Academics got dragged into it, not because he reported anything, but because someone faked a tweet saying he had. That fake tweet spread faster than the truth ever could. Academics had to go live just to deny something he never said, while also condemning how fast narratives were being manufactured. "This is how people get hurt," he warned. The warning went ignored. And then, finally, NBA YoungBoy broke his silence with 3 words that poured gasoline on everything: "Don't trust nothing." 17 million views in hours. No explanation. No clarification. Just ambiguity. People read into it like it was scripture. Was he denying the rumors? Calling them fake? Or warning people not to trust denials? Every interpretation fit someone's agenda, so all of them spread. By nightfall, the phrase "Kai snapped" was everywhere. Not because he did anything, but because the internet needed a climax. And when a rumor reaches that level, it stops being about truth and starts being about consequence. Commenters began tagging law enforcement accounts just in case. Others joked about security and bodyguards. The joke wasn't funny anymore. Somewhere in all of this, the original issue, or a breakup between 2 young people, was completely buried. Replaced by a story so extreme it sounded like a crime. And the scariest part wasn't that people believed it. It was how comfortable they were spreading it without proof. As midnight approached, one last post went viral. A short clip from an old Kai stream, cut abruptly, ending on his voice raised in frustration. The caption read, "This is who you're defending." It racked up millions of views before anyone could contextualize it. By the time corrections appeared, the damage was done. Because once the internet convinces itself someone is dangerous, the rumor doesn't need evidence anymore. And just as everyone thought the night couldn't get more volatile, a new claim began circulating in private group chats, that there had been a real-life confrontation brewing, stopped only because people stepped in. No footage. No confirmation. Just enough fear to make everyone refresh their feeds again. By morning, the rumor had evolved from reckless gossip into something far more dangerous, a narrative. Not a fact. Not an event. A storyline the internet decided to believe because it was more exciting than the truth. Overnight, The phrase "it almost happened" began circulating with no explanation attached. People spoke in absolutes without evidence. Reaction channels titled their streams like emergencies. And suddenly, Cenat wasn't just heartbroken, he was being painted as volatile, unstable, and capable of something that had never occurred. The so-called confrontation rumor exploded out of nowhere. One anonymous post claimed Kai's team had intervened to stop him from doing something he'd regret. Another said security had been tightened around NBA YoungBoy's camp. No names. No locations. No proof. Just language vague enough to sound real. Screenshots of deleted tweets were reposted as receipts. A fake Discord screenshot showed someone saying, "Y'all don't know how close this got." Close to what? Nobody knew. Nobody asked. They just shared. Then came the alleged DMs. Accounts began posting messages claiming Kai was spiraling, not sleeping, breaking phones, talking crazy. The wording was cinematic. Too cinematic. It read like fan fiction written by people who had never met him. But the timing was perfect. Fans remembered Kai opening up about depression weeks earlier, and trolls immediately weaponized that vulnerability. "This is what happens when men don't heal," one tweet read, pulling in 500,000 likes. Another said, "Mental health isn't an excuse when people get hurt." Hurt who? When? How? It didn't matter. The implication alone did the damage. Kai's silence was being reinterpreted by the hour. Every minute he didn't tweet became evidence to someone. If he was innocent, he'd say something. His lawyer told him to shut up. They're covering this up. Each theory contradicted the last, but all of them spread simultaneously. The algorithm didn't care which was true. It rewarded whatever kept people scrolling. Meanwhile, NBA YoungBoy's camp reportedly started feeling the heat. Not because of anything that happened, but because fans were tagging him in threats, jokes, and warnings. "Watch your back. Hope you good. This ain't funny." The lines between humor and hostility blurred fast. People who had never met either man were suddenly acting like street-level insiders, speculating about security routes and locations like it was a game. That's when a second cryptic message surfaced, allegedly from someone close to YoungBoy. It said only, "Y'all internet games gonna get someone hurt." No verification. No confirmation it was even real. But the tone was enough. The post went viral within minutes, screenshots circulating even after the account vanished. And just like that, the rumor escalated from online drama to "this is dangerous." DJ Academics went live again, visibly frustrated. He repeated that there was no evidence of any violent intent, no proof of a confrontation, and no confirmation of anything beyond a breakup and internet lies. "This is how fake stories turn into real problems," he said. Clips of that stream spread, but only the parts where he said the words dangerous and reckless. The context was stripped away. His warning was reframed as confirmation. At the same time, Gigi disappeared. Her accounts went dark. No stories. No replies. No explanations. Fans immediately assumed the worst. They silenced her. She knows too much. This is why Kai snapped. None of it connected logically, but the internet stitched it together anyway. The lack of her voice created space for everyone else to speak for her, loudly and inaccurately. Creators began pulling old clips of Kai joking aggressively on stream, yelling at friends during games, playing exaggerated characters. These moments were slowed down, edited, stripped of humor, and presented as proof of temperament. "This is who he really is," one viral video claimed. Anyone who had actually watched Kai knew the difference between performance and reality. But nuance doesn't trend. Then the most reckless moment hit. A clickbait YouTube thumbnail surfaced showing Kai and NBA YoungBoy's faces side by side with red arrows and the words "Stop just in time." No video evidence. No claims inside the actual content. Just speculation stretched into something that looked criminal. That thumbnail alone was shared tens of thousands of times before anyone could flag it. Damage done. Behind the scenes, according to people in Kai's circle, the mood was grim. He wasn't raging. He wasn't plotting. He was reportedly withdrawn. Angry at the internet. Embarrassed. Hurt. Watching millions of people invent a version of him he didn't recognize. The same fans who once celebrated his vulnerability were now using it to suggest he was unhinged. NBA YoungBoy remained silent after that one tweet. No follow-up. No clarification. And that silence became a mirror. Everyone saw what they wanted in it. Some said it proved innocence. Others said it meant he didn't want to escalate. The loudest voices said it meant he knows something. And still, nothing had happened. No confrontation. No police report. No charges. No verified threats. Just an online wildfire fueled by grief, betrayal rumors, and the internet's addiction to escalation. The story had completely detached from reality and become something else entirely, a cautionary tale no one wanted to hear. Late that night, a post quietly circulated from a small creator who claimed to know Kai personally. It read, "He's not okay. But he's not dangerous. Please stop." The post barely reached anyone. It didn't have drama. It didn't accuse. It didn't inflame. And because of that, it drowned. Because outrage spreads faster than truth. And just when it seemed like the chaos might finally slow down, one final development reignited everything: a leaked call log screenshot showing Kai had attempted to reach someone connected to YoungBoy's circle. No audio. No message. No context. Just a name. A timestamp. And a million assumptions. The internet didn't ask why he called. They decided what it meant. And that decision pushed the story into its most dangerous phase yet. The call log screenshot was the match dropped into gasoline. It didn't show threats. It didn't show rage. It didn't show intent. It showed a name, a time, and a missed connection. And that was all the internet needed to declare a verdict it had already decided on days ago. Within minutes, the narrative hardened from rumors got wild into something almost went down. Commentators spoke with the confidence of witnesses. Thumbnails upgraded from questions to declarations. And the phrase "this could have ended badly" echoed across timelines like a warning siren with no origin. What nobody stopped to ask was the most obvious question of all: why would a call equal violence? The answer was simple and ugly. It wouldn't. But the story had outgrown logic. It had become a spectacle, and spectacles demand stakes. So the internet manufactured them. Creators stitched together montages of speculation. The breakup tweet. The concert tears. The cryptic rapper tweet. The vanished girlfriend. The fake insider posts. Each clip ended with the same ominous beat drop and the same implication: escalation. The comments followed the script. This is scary. Someone check on them. This is how it starts. The words didn't accuse outright. They suggested. And suggestion was safer and deadlier than saying anything outright. Behind the scenes, reality looked nothing like the rumor mill. According to people close to Kai, the call was exactly what it appeared to be: an attempt to clear the air before things spiraled further. No confrontation planned. No meet-up arranged. No run-up. Just a young man watching his name get dragged through something darker than he'd ever experienced, trying to stop the bleeding before it turned permanent. But that explanation didn't travel. It wasn't dramatic enough. It didn't punish anyone. The pressure finally cracked the silence. Kai didn't go live. He didn't rant. He didn't subtweet. He posted a short, controlled message that landed with the weight of exhaustion, not rage. He said he was hurting. He said the breakup was real. He said the rumors were not. NBA YoungBoy's camp finally moved, not publicly, but quietly. Accounts connected to his circle began reporting threatening replies and jokes that crossed lines. Not from Kai. Not from anyone he knew. from strangers who had absorbed the narrative and decided to perform it. The irony was brutal. The rumor about danger was creating the very conditions people claimed to fear. And then, almost unnoticed at first, the entire thing began to collapse under its own weight. Fact-check threads started circulating. Not viral ones. Calm ones. They listed what didn't exist: no police involvement, no restraining orders, no eyewitnesses, no audio, no messages, no confrontation footage, no credible source. They listed what did exist: a breakup tweet, unverified posts, fake screenshots, clickbait thumbnails, and one cryptic rapper tweet that never accused anyone of anything. Slowly, quietly, the scaffolding fell apart. DJ Academics addressed it one last time, clearly frustrated. He laid it out plainly: nothing happened. No attempt. No plan. No violence. He called out the creators who had blurred rumor into implication and implication into accusation. Some listened. Most didn't. But the seed of doubt finally took root. Gigi reappeared briefly, not with receipts, not with drama, but with a message about mental health and boundaries. She didn't name Kai. She didn't name NBA YoungBoy. She didn't address the rumors directly. And somehow, that restraint said more than any denial could. People who had harassed her went quiet. Not apologetic. Just quiet. The meme slowed. The thumbnails softened. The emergency tone faded into embarrassment. Creators quietly changed titles. Some deleted videos altogether. Others added update tags pretending they'd always been careful. The algorithm moved on, as it always does, leaving behind a trail of damaged reputations and a lesson it would never learn. What remained was the aftermath. Kai returned to streaming weeks later, noticeably more guarded. Less willing to share. Less eager to be vulnerable. The same authenticity that once made him beloved had been used against him, and you could feel the shift. NBA YoungBoy never clarified his tweet. He didn't need to. Time had done the work for him. The rumor burned itself out, exposed for what it was: an internet invention fueled by heartbreak, fandom, and the hunger for chaos. And that's the part people don't like to admit. This wasn't a story about violence. It was a story about how easily people will believe it when the internet suggests it. How quickly empathy turns into spectacle. How fast a young man's pain can be reframed as danger because it gets more clicks that way. There was no attempt. There was no plot. There was no confrontation stopped just in time. There was a breakup, a spiral of lies, and a digital crowd that refused to slow down until reality forced it to. By the time the truth caught up, the damage had already been done. And somewhere in the silence that followed, the real cost became clear. Not in trending topics. Not in views. But in the way creators learned, once again, that the internet doesn't just watch stories unfold. It writes them. And sometimes, it writes them so recklessly that the people inside them barely recognize their own names by the end. If you're still watching right now, don't click away, because this is exactly how stories like this get rewritten and buried. What you just witnessed wasn't just internet drama, it was a real-time example of how fast a narrative can turn dangerous when nobody slows it down. And the only reason this didn't spiral even further is because enough people finally started paying attention to what wasn't true. Here's the reality: when you don't engage, the loudest and most reckless versions of a story win. Likes, comments, and subscriptions aren't just support, they decide which version of event survives. If you don't hit like, the algorithm pushes the most extreme clips instead. If you don't comment, the lies sit there unchallenged. And if you don't subscribe, you miss the updates that actually correct the record before the next rumor explodes. This isn't about picking sides. It's about refusing to let pain get turned into something darker just because it's clickable. Drop a comment with what shocked you most: the fake leaks, the thumbnails, or how fast people jumped to conclusions. That conversation matters more than you think. And subscribe now, because stories like this never really end when the timeline moves on.